So I've been looking into Blue Zone recipes and ingredients a lot, incorporating them into my diet more while adding my own spin on it. And I stumbled across a statistic that was eye-opening. It was a list of countries and where they fell in order based on who lives the longest. Year over year, Japan was at the top. And I don't mean like number 17 or 20 or something like that. I mean like 1. They also happen to have a blue zone. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure there's a lot that goes into the longevity of life when it comes to healthy living, but food seems like a good place to start. You know, a nice way to ease in and not take it on all at once. And hey, they also happen to have a curry, so why not? Curries are delicious, and you know, everyone on the map has their own curry extravaganza. Today, we're taking a stab at a Japanese version. First, I tried to approach it as a one-pot deal. I typically use a good amount of dishes, and when it comes to cleaning, me and the dishes aren't always seeing, you know, eye to eye. Well, they don't have eyes, so that could be one problem. Japanese curry starts with a roux, like that fat and flour mixture we use to thicken soups, stews, or curries like this. But theirs are a curry roux, so the spices get incorporated into the mix as well. Instead, today, we're starting by adding in our fat, aka plant butter, or you can use oil, and we begin searing our soy curls. Soy curls have a distinct flavor of their own, so if you haven't tried them, I wouldn't make this the first recipe you try them in. You could also swap this for like a super firm tofu or mushrooms or a store-bought plant chicken substitute. After making this a few times, I would actually remove the soy curls after searing. Set them off to the side until you're done the recipe to prevent that soy curl flavor infringing on the rest of the curry. Next up, onions and aromatics. If you have the time, use it to caramelize the onions. It will bring a whole new world to this dish. I can't say that without thinking about Aladdin. If we were creating the recipe the original way, we would create something of a really dark roux, which lends a nutty, almost rich campfire toastiness to the dish. But since we're doing this in one pot, we're adding in our curry spices to toast them in efforts to replicate something of the same. I believe I said this before, and I'll certainly say it again. All curries are not created equal. This doesn't mean one is better than the other. It just means that you will miss some acute flavors if not considering the appropriate curry companion. From repeatedly testing this recipe, I happened to run out of the curry powder that I would recommend, but I'll put a link in the description or pop it up on screen somewhere. So for this recipe on camera, I'm kinda Tetris overlapping other spices to come up with something of the same. After toasting your spices, then adding in your flour and lightly toasting that as well. It's gonna be important to, you know, keep your spatula swirling and flipping until there is no white flour remained untouched. By the way, gluten-free flour like a sweet rice flour or an all-purpose gluten-free flour blend, 100% can be used for this as well. When pouring the veggie stock in, be sure to swirl kinda all over, making sure to almost dissolve the flour into the stock. One of the biggest differences I've noticed in Japanese curry is it tends to be more sweet and not so spicy. So really, the ingredients you add in from here, outside of your veggies, can really steer it, you know, right where you want it for optimal flavor. I've seen apples added into this recipe, which I thought was a great idea, so naturally I did the same. But other alternatives you can use are like applesauce, or even a fruit puree, or preserve like apricot or peach. I think those would really do some wonders in here. Our other sweet choices were maple syrup and ketchup. And to balance out a bit of that umami flavor, we're adding in soy sauce, which you could swap for coconut aminos, and a vegan Worcestershire sauce that you could replace with like a steak sauce. They're typically plant-based as well. Always check ingredients. This recipe can be found at my website, makeitdairyfree.com, or linked in the description below. For more curry ideas, check out my other recipes linked on screen. Hopefully. Until next time, believe in good. Peace.